Hello and welcome to Football with No Limits. In this video we will be explaining the structure of the entire Scottish football pyramid, all the way from the Premiership all the way down to the bottom. And I think at the minute, with all the playoffs going on, it's the best time to describe the pyramid, to kind of go into the details of the promotion and relegation systems and how teams end up in different leagues. It's quite a confusing pyramid. It could be more straightforward, but it's not really how we do things, so it's a bit more complex, and today I'm going to be outlining that. The pyramid itself, you've got a wee basic thing on the screen in a minute kind of explaining the basic structure. There's 288 clubs across these 10 tiers, there's 20 different leagues. This is before we get into the various regional amateur leagues across Scotland. That's for another time, we're not going to be looking at them today. We have the Scottish Professional Football League here at the SPFL. These are the four leagues of national football in Scotland, and the coding, as you can see here, is how we're going to do it throughout the video for the various leagues. The teams in gold have automatic promotion, whether they've won their leagues or whether they're getting up just as the second place team. In Celtic's case, they've simply won their league, it's just as the top. I thought I'd highlight them. The teams in pink are at risk of relegation, whether that's through playoff or through the result of other teams, and the teams in dark red have automatic relegation. The teams in green are in the promotion playoffs. After the National League, we go into the regional leagues, the Highland and the Lowland League, which are the top level of regional football in Scotland. There's a cut-off point at about the Tay Bridge or the River Tay. They're marked to the next on this map here. As you can see, it's largely obvious where teams are going to fall. I think in the Football League at the minute, 31 teams would fall into the Lowland League and 11 would fall into the Highland League. And then we skip on to the division below the Highland League. We have the North Caledonian Football League, the Midlands Football League, and the North Region Junior Football League. These all sit at tier 6 on the pyramid. Below the Lowland League, we have the West of Scotland Football League, we've got the South of Scotland Football League, and we have the East of Scotland League. These, as you can see, expand down a bit further. The West and the East have 5 and 4 tiers respectively. South of Scotland, like the Caledonian League and the Midlands League, only have one tier. All of these sides, the champions, have a chance to get into the highest level of regional football, whether that is the Highland or the Lowland League. We're going to jump to the actual systems now. We've done the structure, we're going to the systems now, and we're starting with the top dog, the Scottish Premiership. As you can see here, there's a wee split in the table, there's a wee line between the top half and the bottom half. This is because the 12 teams in the Premiership will play each other 3 times to reach the 33 game mark. At this point, the teams in the top 6 will play each other once more, and the teams in the bottom 6 will play each other once more. However, no matter what points totals everyone finishes on, if Aberdeen, for example, this season, Aberdeen have finished on a higher points total than Dundee, but they were sitting below the top 6 of the split, and no matter what points total Aberdeen got, they were still going to finish below Dundee. To explain, I'm going to look at last season, I'm going to show St Mirren. At the split, they were sitting above Livingston and Motherwell. They had higher points, so they stayed in the top 6 even after the games were done, even though you can see here that Motherwell actually finished on a higher points total than St Mirren. That's not how the split works. The split works so that it essentially breaks into 2 leagues and you get a final total. As you can see here, the second bottom team will go into a relegation playoff with the sides in the Championship, and the bottom club will be relegated to the Championship. But how does the relegation playoff work? Because it's a bit different to how the rest of the pyramid works. So as you can see, we're going to jump back to the pyramid, and we see this season Ross County finished in 11th. However, in other divisions is a bit more fair. I think it's a wee bit of an unfair system here, to be quite honest. We will go into that more in another video, but I'm going to explain how it comes about who gets the final spot in the Scottish Premiership. So third in the Championship have to play fourth in Championship first. The higher club in every league in Scotland, the higher club will get home advantage. That is, they'll play at home in the second leg. So the winner of the third and the fourth in the Championship then play off against the second in the Championship. The winner of this tie gets to play the 11th in the Premiership. So whoever finishes 11th in the Premiership gets straight to the final, regardless of anything. They are straight to the final. But that is not the case in other leagues. They are not as fortunate. As you can see, we've got the Championship, League 1 and League 2 here. On paper, Championship and League 1 look the same as the Premiership, but they're not, and I'll tell you for why. It's a bit of a fairer system. The higher team, they place the team in the Championship, and it's the exact same system in League 1. The ninth place team do not get to skip to the final. They have to go into the mud, into the semi-finals, with the fourth place team in League 1. If they lose that game, they are relegated. There's no coming back to the final, there's nothing, they are down. And the final will be between the winner of the 2 ties. As you can see here, it is exactly the same system in League 1. However, when we drop down to the bottom of League 2 and they play with the Highland and Lowland League sides, it changes again. As you can see, this season Buckie and East Kilbride won the Highland League, and they were to play off against each other to get the chance to play whoever finished bottom of League 2. However, Bucky had some licensing problems, so the tie was actually given to East Kilbride as a walkover. But in normal times, here's how it would work. So the Highland League and the Lowland League champion would play off against one another. The winner of that tie would then play 10th in League 2, and they would get the final spot in the Football League. This season it was Stranraer versus East Kilbride. Stranraer won and retained their place in League 2. This is the first time since 2018 that the League 2 team has won. In general, it is the team coming from the regional leagues who usually outwits the League 2 side. What about down at the bottom though, the relegation? So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go to Lowland League first because it is directly impacted by the Pyramid Playoff. As you can see here, Gretna and Edinburgh University have been earmarked as being possible relegation candidates. However, there's also a chance for neither of them to go down, and I will tell you why. It depends on it's all about net gains and net losses to the Lowland League when it comes to Lowland League relegation. So if the Lowland League champion beat a Lowland-based Club 42, that's a Club 42 that would come down to Lowland League, a Lowland League team is out and a Lowland League team is in, so there is no net change to the Lowland League. In this instance, only the bottom side would be relegated. In this instance would be Edinburgh University. If the Highland League champion beat the Highland-based Club 42, nobody in the Lowland League was involved, so again, there's no net change in the Lowland League, so only the bottom side is relegated. If Club 42 won the playoff, as happened this season, again, nobody is leaving the Lowland League, nobody is joining the Lowland League, so only the bottom side will be relegated. However, it's when we get into Highland champions being Lowland teams and Lowland champions being Highland teams that we start to come into a bit of bother. Because when the Highland League champion beats the Lowland-based Club 42, the Lowland League gains a club from the SPFL, but they don't give one back. So to balance out the league at the bottom, they relegate the bottom two Lowland League sides, so Gretna and Edinburgh Uni would both go down. However, if one instance where this happened was 2019, where Cove Rangers beat Berwick Rangers. Cove were in the Highland League, they got promoted to League 2. Berwick came down, so Selkirk and another side were relegated from the Lowland League, but Selkirk actually went bust, so rather than the bottom side getting a reprieve because of Selkirk's going bust, they were relegated as well. If the Lowland League champion beats a Highland-based Club 42, which is what happened in 2021 when Kelty Hearts beat Brechin City, then the Lowland League has lost a club to the SPFL, they have not received one back, and so there is no relegation from the Lowland League. What about promotion into the Lowland League? This is again a bit strange because it doesn't involve the teams at the bottom of the Lowland League. If teams are to get promoted into the Lowland League, then they have to go through a round robin. As you can see, in this year it was Beath Juniors, Dalbeattie Star and Broxburn Athletic. In normal times they would play a round robin and the winner of the round robin would win promotion to the Lowland League. However, in the last 3 years there have been three different situations because a club has to have a valid SFA licence to compete in the Pyramid Playoff the Lowland League Playoff to get into the Lowland League. In 2 years ago, all three clubs had one, so they just went ahead with their round robin. As you can see, Tranent won, they beat Darvel, they beat St Cuthberts, so they ended up in the Lowland League and they won promotion. However, last season in 2022-2023, Beath Juniors, the West of Scotland champions, did not have an SFA licence. Abbey Vale, the South of Scotland champions, did not have an SFA licence. East of Scotland champions and Lithgow Rose did, and as a result, they won promotion to the Lowland League without having to play any playoff game. This season, Beath Juniors won the West of Scotland League again, however they've still not been able to obtain a licence, so they were excluded from these playoffs. Dalbeattie Star won the South of Scotland League and they have a licence, and Broxburn won the East of Scotland League and they have a licence. So in this instance, Dalbeattie Star and Broxburn will play off against each other in two legs. The first leg has happened at Dalbeattie, Broxburn won 4-1. The second leg, I believe, is on Friday evening, so I would strongly encourage people to get along to that if you get the opportunity to. Yeah, so as for relegation from the West of Scotland and the East of Scotland leagues. The South of Scotland is one tier, so the team at the bottom, you just finish bottom, there's no punishment, just shame. In this instance, you'll notice that Glenafton and Glenrothes are highlighted in pink. This is because if the East of Scotland or the West of Scotland team gain a club on net from the Lowland League, then the fourth bottom club is also relegated. That could happen this year. Glenrothes could go down this year because Edinburgh University have been relegated from the Lowland League, so East of Scotland League will be gaining a club. However, Broxburn did beat Dalbeattie in the first leg, so if Dalbeattie overturn the leg and beat Broxburn, then Broxburn stay in the East of Scotland League. The East of Scotland League gains a club from Edinburgh University, and so Glenrothes would be relegated. If Broxburn hold on to win, They will go up, Edinburgh Uni will come down. There will be no net change in the East of Scotland League, so Glenrothes will keep their place. I've highlighted Glenafton here, but because Beath aren't in the playoffs, Glenafton are safe. They do not have to worry about the outcome of the playoff. What about promotion into the Highland League? So again, this is another system, another new system. If you finish bottom of the Highland League, you do get a chance to save your skin. You go into a round robin with the North Caledonian Football League champions, the Midland Football League champions, and the North Region Junior Football League champions. However, this year and last year, the three champions of the leagues below, none of them had an SFA licence, so Strathspey Thistle 2 years in a row now have been spared relegation and were allowed to keep their place in the Highland League. If one of them had an SFA licence, they would again go into a two-legged playoff, and the winner would get a place in the Highland League. The loser would have to stay or be relegated to the Regional League, as happened 2 years ago when Banks O' beat Fort William. It actually ended up being a walkover. Fort William forfeited the tie, and Banks O' were promoted to the Highland League. Fort William went into the North Caledonian Football League. However, this playoff did not take place this season because nobody in the North Region Junior Football League has a licence. I believe Lochie United and Tayport are the only sides in the Midlands that have a licence, and it is only Golspie Sutherland and Fort William in the North Caledonian Football League that have a licence, so there was no promotion or relegation from the Pyramid from the Highland League this season. I hope this video was useful for you. If you want to see more content like this, then I'd recommend dropping a subscription. We will do deeper dives in Scottish football and football from further afield. We have a podcast, Football with No Limits, that you can find on Spotify. I will link that in the description along with our various social medias that have different snippets and bite-sized chunks of football from around the world. On the podcast, we discuss what happens each week, primarily in Scottish football, and we also look at things further afield. And we also have interviews with managers and journalists. So if you want to find that, it will be on Spotify. Look up Football with No Limits. Thank you for watching.